Ben Silverio.
And I'm Ansel Burch.
And it's
time to party!
Today's episode was recorded on October 27th, 2022 in Chicago, Illinois. We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly. Hello, and thank you for listening to our bonus blooper episode for Meet Cute. This is all the bloopers, weird stuff, digressions, and confusions that happened during our recording session for Meet Cute. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you're subscribed on the podcatcher of your choice, because next month we're watching Free Jack with Jenna Dalgetty.
But yes, thank you for joining us for another episode of Time to Party. Keep on partying. That's so awkward. That's probably gonna not get cut and still be in there and be like, hey, look at Ben be awkward.
I usually save those ones for the fourth episode as like the
Sure.
kickoff.
How are we getting so deep when we're about to talk about a Pete Davidson movie?
It's a good question. I will admit that I need to refresh myself on why we're mad at Pete Davidson.
Oh, I've just never liked Pete Davidson.
I mean, sure, there's that, but like, there's a reason we're mad at him specifically right now,
Like
right?
culturally?
Yeah. He did a thing or pissed somebody off, or
He probably pissed off one of the Kardashians, right? Because he was dating Kim for a while?
he was. That's right. Another person I don't care much about.
Okay. I, at the very least, have some respect for Kim because she uses her platform for positive things in addition to the reality TV side of shit, right? Like, she has a podcast, I think, that's like trying to dig deeper into this case of this dude who was unjustly imprisoned.
Yeah. She picked up on that whole like unjust imprisonment thing. And that's good. That's good. She's also like studying to be a paralegal or some shit, like to aid with that, or I don't know.
Yeah, but also, like, can you blame her for using her platform of a reality show to grow an actual business empire?
No.
Like, it makes a lot of sense. She just saw where the climate was going and just jumped on it. Like, can't really fault her for that. I mean, the rest of her family might might not be as industrious since they just jumped on her coattails. But, you know, to a degree, I have a respect for the Kardashians.
I'm not mad at the Kardashians for anything. Just, you know, I don't find them particularly interesting in their primary things that they put out.
Sure, I'm not their audience.
Yeah.
100%.
That's a much better way to put it. I am not their audience.
Right.
But yeah, no, like I don't find them as like infuriating as some folks
Sure.
seem to.
Because, I mean, Pete Davidson exists.
Sure.
Ezra Miller
Kevin
exists.
Spacey exists.
Oh, actual bad people.
Yeah,
Well, I guess
right, like-
Ezra Miller kind of is a bad person now.
Yes, we now know that Ezra Miller.
Yes. Because
has
as
been a
far as
bad
I know,
person.
Pete Davidson isn't necessarily a bad person. He's just not for me.
Apparently, we are mad at him. He told a joke about the Catholic Church in New York being like R. Kelly, but one
Okay.
of them has better music. And this was like right after they did a big settlement for pedophilia amongst priests. So like, okay, I get that.
Sure.
And then he made a joke about a congressman with an eye patch looking like a hitman in a porno.
Okay.
And I guess the follow-up is the problem, because then he was like, yeah, I guess he lost it in a war or whatever. And yeah, he did. He fought in service of the country and lost an eye. And like, okay.
So on the scale...
So this is it. This is what we're mad at him for.
So on the scale, essentially, he's just doing normal comic shit.
Yeah, normal comic shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, not actually a bad person.
No,
but,
yeah,
you know.
there's especially when the conversation includes R. Kelly. Yeah,
Sure.
like yeah,
I get that.
we're doing okay. So yeah, we just don't like him because he's kind of a bad comedian. That's all I can come up with. It's like,
I
okay,
mean,
those are off color, but
you
like
know.
he's a comedian. That's
Sure.
to be expected.
He has a very punchable face. Just putting that out there. Very punchable face. Not that I condone violence, but
I mean, he also like leans in on that. Like that's
Sure.
his whole gig is being like self-deprecating.
sure.
And kind of shitty.
Yeah, he's just like instead of being like self-deprecating and like emo and endearing, he's self-deprecating and broy and a douchebag.
Yeah, douchey about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if this bit makes it into the pod, you let us know why we're mad at Pete Davidson. Maybe that should be our new approach to problematic people in movies.
Why
It's
are
like,
we mad at these people?
tweet at us. Why are we mad at so and so?
I mean, like some things, like obviously we know why we're mad at Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that anyone involved in entertainment would like know, right? But just like for smaller things, like why we don't like Pete Davidson, why someone doesn't like, I don't know why this is the first person that came to mind, but The Miz, you know?
I don't even know who the Miz is.
So The Miz is a former WWE champion.
okay.
But
guessed that.
he started his career in entertainment on The Real World.
Okay.
And he's one of the most successful alumni from that show. Right up there with like Jamie Chung, you know? Like they have lasting power in Hollywood, you know? And in entertainment in general. Because like Jamie Chung is still getting booked in movies. Like sure she did that Chun-Li movie, but like she's done a lot of other stuff too.
Sure.
But The Miz has been he's gone from being ostracized and having to dress in the hallway at wrestling shows to being one of the most consistent performers over the past decade. Because like he never gets injured, he always does media, he's a company guy, you know, and he's a great villain.
Okay.
Like he's very good at what he does, and generally he's not viewed as a shitty person like outside of the ring. Also, he has a new reality show called Ms. and Mrs. that follows him and his family. His wife was
that's
also a
cute. That's
wrestler.
cute.
Yeah, it's very cute because they have two very young daughters, and he's very much a wife guy. And we love a wife guy.
Hey,
You know,
solid thing to be.
exactly. Better than being Pete Davidson. I mean, I'm just gonna keep going back to that since we're talking about
he's
a Pete
on
Davidson
topic,
movie,
yeah.
right?
Okay. Dumb fact.
Okay.
So I worked at the Museum of Science and Industry
Yes.
for a while. And one of the things that I got to do was a presentation from the guy who runs the Mold-A-Ramas.
Oh, cool.
And I think you've talked about this previously with somebody else. Didn't I hear
Aaron
you on?
loves them.
Okay.
It might have been with Aaron.
Might have been with Aaron. So the Mold-A-Rama guy came to the museum. He is the Mold-A-Rama guy.
Right.
Because there are only the Mold-A-Ramas that exist now.
Sure.
And he runs them. So he was talking about how interesting it is that every time they change the color of the like wax plastic stuff, collectors show up and try to get the ones that are like in between, because the color will be slightly different.
Yes.
Or if you change from like red to green, you'll get some that are like marbled or half red, half green, or you know, some weird shade in between, some brown. And they go for like ridiculous amounts on
Right.
eBay. So you knew this.
I mean, I understand it.
Oh,
Like, I
okay.
get it.
Just the idea of a $2 pressed wax plastic thing
Oh, yeah.
becoming valuable is confusing.
I currently have a Funko Pop that is valued at, I'm going to bring up the exact amount.
Well, that's different though, because Funko Pops are like designed to be a collector item, right? Whereas Mold-A-Ramas are designed to be cheap and easily forgotten about. Like, they're not intended to be the best thing you pick up at the zoo.
Moldoramas have come to have significant personal meaning, I think.
I suppose, yeah.
Souvenirs from a trip can be expensive, right? And like,
Sure.
So for something to be like that cheap and meant for anybody, but those things that people like, I guess, always turn into.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
behind you, there's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Zords, right?
Yeah.
And like, those are the OG ones, like from when we were kids, and like now, I mean, price fluctuates all the time, but they've remade those exact Zords into like nicer and like more heavy duty and more durable, and like they're great now, but people want the original ones.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because
know,
those are the ones you wanted as a kid.
exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe the Moldoramas have a similar vibe.
That makes sense. Like, when you went to the zoo as a kid, you always wanted to get the Moldorama,
Yeah.
and that was the one thing you could get. So now you collect them.
It's like,
I
why do
get that.
people collect bottle caps?
That's true. That is a thing that is intended to be disposable. And
Yeah, stamps. I still have the first Elvis stamp in a little tiny frame in my parents' house.
That's cool.
But now I have like a Funko Pop that's worth $400, and
By the way, did you see 400? That's how much yours.
400,
Okay,
that's how much it is.
Nice. Did you see the meme about Lizzo playing the dragon dagger and summoning
Hilarious.
So good.
So funny.
I thought of you
Let people play
immediately.
instruments. Like, what's the big deal?
Especially a crystal instrument. Like,
Sure.
there is nothing about a crystal flute that you can damage by playing it.
Right.
Like, if it were a wooden flute from the 1700s,
Yeah.
sure. Then
That's one thing.
yeah, moisture in there is going to be a problem if you haven't been playing it. If you have been playing it, keep playing it.
Yeah.
Like, think Stradivarius violins from like the 1600s. If you don't play them, they start to break.
So if you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly. But a crystal flute, not the
No.
case.
Not unless she has crystal teeth.
Even then, like, you don't chew the flute.
I don't know how you're playing the flute, but maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Maybe you're doing it wrong. Yeah. No, that's the beauty of a flute, is like the only contact your body has with the instrument is the front of your bottom lip and your fingers. Because like it's not even like a clarinet or a sax where you have to like put it in your mouth.
Right.
You just blow across the top of the flute. That style anyway.
Sure.
I doubt it. I dated a flautist in high school.
Ooh.
Not like that gave me any extra knowledge on the flute. I sat next to flutes as well. I was in band. That's the real thing I should have said.
Who decided that flute players were called flautists?
Flautists. Probably the French. But I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh my god, I saw an Instagram reel the other day asking how to say certain things in French, and essentially every word that they asked or phrase that they asked sounded like the word violet.
Oh,
so
yeah?
they made an entire sentence using all of those words, and I was just like, what the fuck?
I love how many of those are going around. There's a bunch of like I saw one for Chinese and I saw one for Polish.
Oh, there's one in Tagalog where you can make I forgot how long the sentence is, but basically it's all just using the syllable ba. So
Okay.
So it's like ba 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 is a sentence.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Okay, flautist comes from the Italian flautista, from flauto, meaning flute.
Can't blame the French on this one.
Close. Anyhow,
We still haven't started.
we still haven't started the show. Yep. Did it? I thought it was November.
October 15th, I believe, is from the second movie.
No, Flux Capacitor Day. I thought that was November.
Oh my god. We're supposed to be the experts of this.
I posted about it last year.
Because I believe the date that they go to 2015 is in October.
A red letter day in science.
October 21st, 2015 is where they go.
November 5th, 1955.
Sure, that's from the first movie.
Okay.
From the
That's the
second
one I
movie.
was thinking of. I was thinking of the November one.
Yeah, I believe they, meaning Back to the Future fans, celebrate the October one as Back to the Future Day.
Oh, interesting. Because November 5th is the one he celebrates in the movie.
November 5th is when he discovered time
the
travel.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's already a day in history.
Okay, so there's that day, and then there's also Back to the Future Day.
Right.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Because I remember in 2015, people went fucking nuts. The USA Today issue was a reprint of the newspaper from Back to the Future 2.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
I
good.
could not get my hands on one. I was so pissed. I actually had to look for newspaper stands to try to get one. They were like, we've been sold out all day.
No doubt they were all confused.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the day time travel was invented.
Yeah, and I guess in a way, our anniversary.
I suppose, yeah.
Because without that day, there would be no time to party.
Didn't we have our first meeting roundabout there? When we were first planning season 1? I feel like that was like October, November.
We were definitely bundled up wearing hats.
We were, yeah.
But in Chicago, that could be, you know.
And we met at Dark Matter.
We did, and there was a time machine there. A
yeah,
DeLorean.
a TARDIS. Yeah, there was a TARDIS. DeLorean.
There could have been a TARDIS. I
There
don't know.
probably was. Actually, no.
There's not enough easily digestible cinema anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to be fucking Christopher Nolan's dick length, you know? Like, you brought up doing Interstellar for this episode. I did not want to watch it again. Because it's just,
So
you have to
long.
schedule that shit.
It's true.
You know, like, you have to plan a month in advance to rewatch Interstellar. Or any of Christopher Nolan's movies. I thought about, so Stella is doing a rewatch of all the Batman movies.
Oh, cool.
And I thought about doing the same thing, and then I'm just like, then I have to watch the Christopher Nolan ones.
I liked those. Well, I liked the first one a lot.
I liked the first one.
I liked the
for
second one
sure.
okay, and the third one was fine.
The third one. But like, there used to be a ton of movies, especially comedies, that were very easily digestible. They would be 90 minutes. They would show off a new comedian, and then maybe that comedian would go off and make 16 other movies. And then you'd be sick of them for a while.
Yeah.
And then they'd come back a decade later.
You're just talking about Adam Sandler, aren't you?
Maybe. Honestly, I was... That's a much better example than who I had in mind.
Oh, who were you thinking
John
of?
Leguizamo.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But John Leguizamo has always done good movies, right? Like, your example of Adam Sandler is much better fit for this. Adam Sandler or Mike Myers.
Sure. Oh, man. Mike Myers was the king of a 90-minute movie that was just
Absolutely.
an SNL sketch stretched out to its breaking point.
But people like Steve Martin, Martin Short, Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, all of these like icons of comedy now thrived because of that system, you know?
Yeah.
John Candy, Chris Farley, like Rodney Dangerfield even, you know? Like all of these great comedians had chances to like shine because of movies like that. And I kind of miss that, you know?
I wonder if that was something about the studio system in the like 70s through the 90s that has changed.
Yeah, because you can't just be funny anymore. You know, you have to be marketable.
You have to be marketable. You have to have recognizable IP.
Exactly. You have to have crossover appeal.
Yeah.
Like, look how long it took for a Filipino family to be showcased in a major Hollywood studios production. It took Joe Coy grinding for all of these years to finally get a movie produced by Steven Spielberg. You know? Gabriel Iglesias, who I first saw on All That.
Oh, yeah.
Very later seasons of All That. Sold out Dodger Stadium for a comedy show. Like, finally, there are large strides in comedy, but like not enough in Hollywood anymore. You know, like, does Fluffy have a movie now because of that sellout? No, but like it's still a great achievement. You know,
Sure.
And hopefully it leads to a movie. He had a TV show on Netflix for a little while. That was fun.
He did. I don't know if he would want to do a movie. Like, has he signaled for that?
He has dipped his toes into filmmaking very gingerly.
Okay.
Like he was in Magic Mike. He played the DJ. And he said he had a lot of fun doing
What I
that.
get for not having seen that movie.
The first one is very good.
So I hear.
The second one is like a road trip comedy.
All right.
I mean, Fluffy's in more of it.
Not what I would have predicted, but okay.
Yeah. You know. Obviously, I watched those movies because Big Sexy Kevin Nash is in them. Former WWE champion, Kevin Nash.
All right. There are still marquises and marquesses.
Is that what the female equivalent of a marquis is?
It is not.
Oh.
Okay, so fun, dumb fact.
Okay.
So marquis, right?
Yes.
The title is a French word.
Marquis de Lafayette.
Exactly. And so when the Brits decided that they had enough with France on yet another occasion, they decided that they were also then not going to pronounce French words in the French fashion anymore. And so marquis became marquess at some point in like the pre-Tudor period, I want to say.
Was
like
this the ancient English equivalent to freedom fries?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So, for example, in Wales, there is the Marquess of Anglesea's column, which is just a big column with a statue of the Marquess of Anglesea on the top of it. Because let me tell you, motherfuckers love a column.
They do.
Anywhere.
Like, not really any rhyme or reason to have a column someplace. Like the middle of a square.
Man, middle of a square, that's prime place for a column.
Sure, but like...
Middle of a sheep pasture in Anglesea, I would say, is... That's a weird one. That's an odd choice. Because I was just wandering through a sheep
And you
field,
found it.
and I was like, the fuck is this?
Just a looming figure.
Just a big white column in the middle of the island.
That's...
I'm sure it was like the highest point in the island or some shit. But
somebody's compensating.
we're doing sampling now. Maybe I'll cut it in.
Oh, we can do that now?
I mean...
That's a thing?
I have the technology.
We can build it.
Until we get a cease and desist, I think we're okay.
Yes. Splice that in. Splice that shit. Can I just start saying shit more often now that you can just like splice stuff in?
I suppose.
Did you just create a lot more work for yourself?
I might have done. We'll see. We'll see
like,
how many
fuck.
times I live up to the pimping.
Yo, but anytime we bring up the holiday, deserves a splice.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so it is interesting how much these properties are all intermeshed at this point.
I mean, yeah, because there's a lot of crossover now in behind the scenes. You know, James Gunn is the prime example because he was the spearhead for Guardians of the Galaxy, and now he's the savior of the Suicide Squad because David Ayer can suck a dick. Oh, you're too good for superhero movies, David Ayer? Whatever, bro.
I think superhero movies might be too good for you, David Ayer.
Absolutely. Like,
Wow.
trying to get all deep and shit about Jared Leto's Joker. So bad.
Incidentally, we were talking a few months ago about a metaverse movie with all the Harleys Quinn, and now that Lady Gaga is going to be one as well, like,
well, if DC inevitably does Crisis, it could happen.
it could happen.
But then, essentially, they'd just be following what Marvel did again.
Look, when Marvel does all the good ideas, yeah, it's a shame you didn't get to them. And it's too bad that your movies were such terrible quality for such a long time that you're playing catch up. But you should still do the good idea, DC.
Sure.
Do
Just
it.
do it
Just,
well.
Just do it and do it well.
Yeah.
Don't suck at it. If you want to feel bad about feeling bad, White Castle.
That's the way to do it.
I think it says it on the Crave case, doesn't it?
Small asterisk.
You open it up.
Because, I mean, they don't specify. And I'm not
You're not enough of a
exactly.
connoisseur
I don't know enough about the locations in New York to know which bridge that was exactly, but it could be one of the bridges that goes to New Jersey. And how many fucking love stories take place in New Jersey?
Garden State.
Okay, there's always an exception to the rule, but
I think Garden State is intended to be the exception to the New Jersey rule.
But like
in all places,
I give people a lot of shit for setting all of these love stories in New York and making New York the most romantic city in the world and blah blah. Fuck New York. Beautiful shit happens in other places too, like 2 hours south in Philadelphia.
I mean, you guys got Eye of the Tiger and probably another thing.
Probably another thing.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I was all ready to have examples, and that was all I had was Rocky.
You can find us on the internet. I'm at bsilverio20 on Instagram and Twitter.
I am at Indecisionist on Twitter and at The Indecisionist on Instagram.
Special thanks to April Moralba for our podcast art, and to Marlon Longan of Marlon and the Shakes for our amazing theme song. This has been an Indecisionist production.
You can use the hashtag time2party. That's time the number 2 party.
As well as hashtag time the number 2 party, all spelled out.